You must listen. What I'm about to tell you will change the course of history. As John Milton once said, the mind is its own place.
Hello and welcome to this induction video about A-level psychology. So what is psychology? Psychology is the scientific study of behaviour and mental processes. What is the goal of psychology? To describe, predict, explain and control behaviour. And what are the tools we use in psychology? Psychology uses scientific methods to study behaviour. So let me begin by talking you through which topics you will study in Year 1. Approaches in psychology. Social influence. Memory. Attachment. Psychopathology. Research methods. Starting with approaches in psychology. Different fields of psychology have different views about human behaviour. The photograph is a very famous study known as Little Albert. It was a study where an 8-month-old child was taught to have a phobia. First of all using a rat, but they discovered that his phobia generalised to anything that was white and fluffy, including the mask. So this supports the behaviourist view of human behaviour, the fact that human behaviour may be a product of learning. However, other approaches may disagree with this. For example, the biological approach places greater emphasis on genes and brain structure, whilst the psychodynamic approach is very interested in what goes on in the unconscious mind and how this may influence our day-to-day behaviour. The next topic is social influence. Why do we do as we're told? Why do we do what other people are doing? And how do people change their behaviour? So you're looking at a picture of Stanley Milgram. He did perhaps the most famous study in psychology ever, where he effectively persuaded people to electrocute a stranger to death, all because an authority figure told them to do so. Our memory topic is very interested in eyewitness testimony. Ronald Cotton, who you can see in the picture, was sent to prison for murder. He spent decades in prison on the basis of eyewitness testimony. Those people genuinely believed he was the perpetrator, but their memories got it wrong. So we're very interested in why do people make such terrible errors in memory. Attachment. This is about the bond between a parent and a child. What's it there for? What's its purpose? How does it affect us as adults? And what happens if we're separated from our attachment figure? Harry Harlow separated baby rhesus monkeys from their mothers, and it caused significant and permanent emotional damage to those monkeys. Psychopathology is all about mental health problems. We focus in on phobias, depression and OCD, and we look at each of these conditions from the behavioural perspective, from the cognitive perspective and also from a biological perspective. In research methods, we train you in the methodology of professional psychologists. Mary Ainsworth, for example, put together a procedure, a standardised procedure which is still used today, called the strange situation. And this measures how attached and the type of attachment a child has to its primary carer. Moving on to Year 2 psychology. forensic psychology, schizophrenia, gender, biopsychology, issues and debates. Forensic psychology is concerned with crime and criminal behaviour. Why do people commit crime, and how can we prevent crime in the future? This photograph shows us an idea called atavistic form. The idea that we can spot a criminal by looking at them, examining their face, examining the shape of their head. Schizophrenia. What causes it? How can we treat it effectively? So the picture that you are looking at, this rather sinister, scary picture, was painted by somebody with a diagnosis of schizophrenia. And this is a hallucination he lives with every day. Gender. Gender is our concept of ourselves as either masculine, feminine, or a mixture of both. So where does that concept come from? Is it biology? Is it learnt? You're looking at a picture there of a member of the Lakota tribe, and they call themselves Winkte, which means a two-souled person. Biologically, that person is male, but they lived their lives as females. The really interesting thing about this picture, though, is it's over 100 years old. Biopsychology focuses in on the brain and how the brain changes with experience, with injury, and focuses in on how we can perhaps help people with brain injury. So Phileas Gage had a horrendous accident which drove a metal pole through his head. His personality changed dramatically as a result of that injury. We're interested in why that was. Issues and debates deal with some of the more controversial areas of psychology and some of the areas that psychologists perhaps can't agree on. For example, we consider whether there might be some areas of psychology that are dangerous to research. So should we be looking to improve the human race through selective breeding, for example? Or is this area of research so potentially dangerous we shouldn't go there at all? These are some of the issues we'll talk about and consider. This subject is assessed through exams. You will sit 3 exams at the end of the 2 years. Each exam will be 2 hours long. In order to be a successful student in psychology, we ask that you pass your English, your maths, and your science. This is a course which suits people who can write essays, so we would like you to have a grade 5 in a written subject. But it also suits students who can think scientifically, which is why we want you to have a firm grounding in the sciences. If you're interested in this subject and you'd like to do a little bit more reading or research, there's lots and lots of things available that can give you a taste of A-level psychology. Therefore, I'm going to end with a list of things you can watch and things you can read. These are not required reading, but if you're not sure if psychology is for you, it's probably a good idea to read some of these or watch some of these in order to help you make up your mind. Thank you for listening.